Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the voice inside your head, your constant companion, critic, and storyteller, has never truly belonged to you. From childhood lullabies to the slogans you scroll past on your phone, every sound, every sentence, every fleeting thought has sculpted the architecture of your mind. You have been programmed, not by machines, but by words. Over a century ago, in the quiet French town of Nancy, a pharmacist named Emil Coué discovered something extraordinary, that the imagination, not willpower, is the true sovereign of human life. Patients came to him paralyzed, stuttering, broken by illnesses medicine could not explain. Yet through a simple ritual of words, every day in every way I'm getting better and better, they healed. It sounded absurd. It sounded too easy. But what Coué witnessed in that modest clinic became the seed of an idea that would one day redefine psychology, marketing, spirituality, and even politics. The subconscious obeys suggestion. Fast forward to our century of algorithms and infinite scrolls. The stage has changed, but the mechanism remains the same. Today, we call it priming, neuromarketing, behavioral design. A notification sound, a color palette, a repetition of headlines, all are micro-suggestions whispered into the modern psyche. What Coué proved in 1910 with words, Silicon Valley perfected with data. The power of suggestion is not a mystical claim. Neuroscientists now map its pathways in fMRI machines. Each repeated idea etches new grooves in the brain's default mode network. The neurons that fire together wire together, and every mental image becomes a subtle command to the body. That is why the heart races when you imagine danger, why tears appear during a film, why the body lives inside the story the mind believes. Coué's forgotten law: when imagination and will come into conflict, imagination invariably wins, wasn't philosophy. It was neurology spoken in the language of his time. The prefrontal cortex can argue all it wants. The limbic system decides reality. But the tragedy of humanity is that we rarely use this law consciously. Most people live under an empire of borrowed ideas, hand-me-down fears from parents, teachers, and the glowing rectangles that never stop talking. From the moment a child hears "be careful, you'll catch a cold," or "money doesn't grow on trees," a network of associations forms in the subconscious, repeating for decades like invisible code. Adults then call this personality. In truth, it's conditioning. Pause for a moment and ask, how many of your choices were ever truly yours? You choose a brand because it feels right. You vote for a candidate who resonates. You crave foods you once saw advertised during childhood cartoons. This is not coincidence. It's cumulative hypnosis. The 20th century replaced Coué's clinic with television, and television has now evolved into the handheld altar of attention you carry in your pocket. The new priesthood is algorithmic. Yet within this realization hides a doorway to liberation. If negative suggestions can enslave, conscious auto-suggestion can free. Coué's formula works because it speaks the language of the subconscious, gradual, rhythmic, non-conflictual. It bypasses the critical mind by avoiding the lie of instant transformation. Every day signals process. In every way, invites the deeper intelligence of the body to decide what must heal first. Modern neuroscience confirms that the brain resists absolute statements it knows to be false. Say, "I am a millionaire," while drowning in debt, and your nervous system tightens. But whisper, "My relationship with abundance improves every day," and the body relaxes. The gate opens. The message enters. This is the lost art of alignment, when language, emotion, and physiology cooperate instead of compete. You can feel it physically. Shoulders drop, breathing deepens, awareness expands. The mind no longer shouts at reality. It converses with it. Across the ocean, Joseph Murphy and later Norman Vincent Peale reinterpreted Coué for new generations. Their readers called it faith, visualization, positive thinking. But what they rediscovered was the same ancient principle encoded in prayers, mantras, and incantations. The difference lies only in form. The monk repeats a verse. The entrepreneur repeats a goal. The mechanism is identical. Repetition installs belief, and belief organizes reality. Science now peeks behind this curtain. When a suggestion is accepted, the brain's predictive coding recalibrates sensory input to match expectation. You literally perceive according to belief. In laboratory experiments, placebos heal, sham surgeries relieve pain, and imagined exercise builds muscle mass. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the blueprint of physiology. But power without awareness invites manipulation. Coué dreamed of self-healing. Others saw opportunity. By mid-century, advertisers began studying hypnotic rhythm and association. Autosuggestion became consumer psychology. They learned that bright red triggers urgency, that scarcity phrases, limited offer. Only 3 left. Bypass critical thought, that repetition creates trust. The principle never changed. Insert the idea when the mind is relaxed, and behavior follows automatically. Today, the battlefield is digital. Push notifications, autoplay videos, and infinite feeds mimic Coué's 20 knots on a string, endless loops that bypass reflection. Each swipe is a tiny repetition of belief. I need more. The subconscious obeys. But here's the revelation Coué never lived to see. The same techniques that enslave attention can awaken it. When you use deliberate self-suggestion, meditation, or visualization, you are rewriting neural code in the opposite direction. The process is mechanical yet sacred. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Speak to your deeper self not as a commander but as a collaborator. Say, every day, in every way, clarity increases within me. Feel the resonance rather than forcing conviction. The body will know the truth before the intellect does. To grasp this is to reclaim authorship of your mind. You stop being a receiver of instructions and become the programmer. But this responsibility carries weight. What will you choose to implant? Fear or freedom? Conformity or creation? Consider the implications for society. If one man in 1920 could cure paralysis through suggestion, what might billions of connected minds do if they collectively focused on healing, innovation, or peace? The same mental law that sells products could end wars, if intention replaced exploitation. Collective imagination is the most untapped resource on Earth. Modern physicists, flirting with consciousness theory, now echo Coué's intuition in another language. Quantum observers alter outcomes by the act of observation. Attention shapes probability. Whether or not you accept the metaphysics, the metaphor holds. The world reflects the dominant vibration of thought. Your private suggestions ripple outward into the shared field we call reality. Yet skepticism remains healthy. The danger of blind optimism is denial. Coué warned never to declare perfection prematurely. Evolution is process, not proclamation. True mastery means working with the subconscious as gardener, not dictator. You plant, water, and trust the soil. Each evening before sleep, when consciousness drifts toward the tides of the unconscious, whisper your formula, not as superstition but as neurological training. Repetition at this liminal hour bridges both worlds. You will notice subtle shifts, a calmer morning, improved focus, a quiet confidence that requires no pep talk. These are not miracles. They are feedback loops stabilizing around new beliefs. As the days pass, patterns dissolve. Addictions lose their gravity, relationships soften, creativity returns. Life doesn't suddenly change, it realigns, like a compass rediscovering north. The same principle applies to nations. Collective imagination determines collective fate. Media, politics, religion, all are competing auto-suggestions sculpting civilization's dream. Humanity is the sum of its accepted ideas. That is why discernment is the final stage of awakening. To observe a message without unconsciously absorbing it is to step outside the hypnotic current. The next time a headline provokes outrage, Or an ad promises happiness, pause. Feel whether the idea contracts or expands your energy. Acceptance or rejection happens not in logic but in sensation. The subconscious speaks through feeling. In that awareness, the old illusion of control dissolves. You realize the will was never meant to fight the imagination but to aim it. The intellect chooses the seed, the subconscious grows the forest, and through this cooperation, reality bends, not magically but mechanically. Coué once wrote that imagination is a living force, and that every thought we plant continues to live somewhere in the vast soil of mind. Perhaps that is why civilizations rise and fall with their myths. When we imagine ourselves powerless, we create systems that confirm it. When we imagine ourselves divine, we build cathedrals. When we imagine connection, technology appears to unite the planet. The collective dream becomes the collective world. So ask yourself tonight, what dream are you rehearsing? Each complaint, each worry, each quiet repetition of "I can't" is an instruction. Each act of gratitude, each vision of improvement, each whisper of "every day in every way" is another. One perpetuates paralysis, the other restores motion. The choice is invisible but absolute. Between the lines of ordinary thought lies the ancient art of creation. Those who master it no longer wait for miracles, they engineer them. And when you begin to feel that subtle shift, that strange lightness in the chest, remember, nothing outside changed first. The world simply caught up to the new story you were telling inside. Every day, in every way, we are getting better.